Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? It's Sam Spencer. I'm a little bit different from me on the page today. I'm going to be doing a lot more content through the page, so it'd be a huge help to me if you like and share this and get more people exposed to it, and hopefully that will add value to them and help them on their journey as well. But the video today is talking about habits and daily habits and how they ultimately define us. Now, a lot of people think that, or they say to me, Sam, what's the best hack for this? What's the best hack for that? How do you do this? How do you do that? And then the reality, there's no kind of one big silver bullet. There's no silver bullet for a level of results or success, whatever that means for you. John, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. There's no silver bullet to success, whatever that means for you. It's just the sum of your continual actions. So how do you keep taking actions? Well, you need to have habits, daily habits, weekly habits, monthly habits. And there's a few things that I do that I wanted to share with you that I think they'll really help if you implement them into your life and your business. And the first thing is stop negotiating the price. All right, now, everywhere with the price tag, what's the cost of this, what's the cost of that? I used to do this negotiating everything in my life. Now, I don't just mean financially, by the way, because I think that there is a time and a place whereby we need to negotiate a price financially, okay? But when you do it on everything in your life and you negotiate the price on everything, ultimately you start to come from a place of scarcity, of being poor, of not having enough, okay? And I think that's a subtle maybe distinction between successful, wealthy people, in that they don't always focus on the price, they will focus on the worth or the value of that. So is it worth it? Does it provide value to me? If you're constantly looking at the price tag, you're going to eventually give in, right? You'll eventually give in. And so we've got to stop negotiating the price. It feels amazing when you fully commit to something, okay? Whether that be, your fitness, your business, your relationship. Karan, how you doing? Good to see you. You're going to feel massively powerful doing that, okay? So, can you do that? The people around you will keep saying, it costs too much, it's costing you too much. Maybe that translates into they believe you're working too hard, for example, for where you want to be. We're not always talking financial in this respect, okay? When people around you keep telling you it's costing too much, the cost of you looking to achieve something is too much, i.e. you're working too hard, then maybe you start thinking in your head, maybe it is costing me too much. Maybe I am working too hard. Maybe I should slow down. Maybe I should stop. Absolutely not. Do not stop. It is worth it, okay? As I said, it's that price versus value. That's the subtle distinction that you need to make in life. And people are always negotiating the price in their head, like I said. Is all this hard work, is all this effort, is this sacrifice worth it? Is that price I'm paying worth it for where I want to get to? And too many people get in your head and you'll start to question yourself. So absolutely it's worth it. Stop negotiating the price in your mind, okay? The second thing is, I want you to raise your identity, all right? So your identity is ultimately who you are. All right. And it's so powerful. And you must understand this to force yourself to grow. At the moment, you may consider it a bit like the thermostat in your house, right? It's cold outside. We've got the thermostat on. The temperature may be set to 20, 22, whatever you set to. Now, once that temperature is set at a certain degree, anything can hit it. So let's say, for example, you could liken this to your life as well, right? I'm going to come back to it. And that can be positive or negative. So let's say it's set to 22 degrees. If you open up all the doors and the cold gets in, okay, they could be in life, they could be challenges. They could be some of the worst challenges in your life. And the thermostat sends, the heater will kick on, it'll regulate the temperature, and it'll bring you back up to 22 degrees. All right. Now, that's great. But the reverse is also true. Let's say it's really hot outside. Great. Things are happening in your life. You're starting to get results, but it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. If you're set at 22 degrees, your internal thermostat, you will find a way over time to cool your life way back down to 22 degrees again. You'll self-sabotage, all right? And you see it time and time again of people start to get results and then they will go back to whatever their financial blueprint is or their success blueprint is. Call it mean reversion, for example, in a trading sense. Similarly, you've seen people, billionaires, millionaires, who go bankrupt and get it all back because their financial thermostat is set a lot higher. So the secret is to be able to shift your temperature so it never goes down to 22 again. All right. So how do you do that? Well, let's just say, as I said, your financial position is 120 degrees and I'm at 50. What do you think would happen if I started staying close to you? I spent time with you. I absorbed the way you're thinking, your habits, how you conduct yourself. All right. I'm sure you're thinking it now. Well, exactly. It will shift my identity too. You could become what you're around. So you will start to heat up as well. Your financial circumstance will change. This is the same in business, the same in health, the same in fitness. It's thought that you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around with. Okay, so the better the people you hang around with, the stronger the force is for you to change. All right, which is so powerful, but many people don't do it. They stay around people who drag them down. They're negative and they stress them out, but they stay in that environment that causes the stress. The second thing is, one thing we can do to change our identity is doing short bursts of things that you've not done before. And that can shift your identity in a very short space of time. It may be going to do a certain workout a certain amount of times, or a certain number of investor calls or vendor calls, or maybe when you make a certain amount of money. Okay, I did a bit of a challenge recently where I did a certain number of workouts consistently over time, and I was never the same again because it raised my thought process of who I was and what I could achieve. So I did that. It was 75 hard, essentially. I did 75 hard where I was training every day. It's Andy Frisella's 75 Hard Fitness Challenge. And it totally changed my perspective and almost internal thermostat of what I could achieve from a fitness and health perspective. And that can then be transitioned into other areas of your life, i.e. business and stuff like that. Okay. The last thing on the identity is that people's will and drive is often for sale. Okay, and what I mean by that is if they were offered a certain position in their workplace, for example, if they would offer a certain amount of money, they would totally sack their entrepreneurial career, their business off totally. All right, I've seen people do it, whether that be financially, physically, their will, their drive is for sale. So me, for example, I cannot be bought. No one can buy me. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. I will not stop until I get to the destination. No one will make me quit, no matter what happens, what financial incentive is put in front of me. Obviously, now don't get me wrong. I struggle all the time. I struggle with motivation. I struggle with drive. Most days I don't want to get out of bed. This morning I didn't want to get out of bed. This morning I didn't want to go to the gym. Okay, when I've not had much sleep and stuff, right? But that doesn't tend to confuse me or shift me. I just know where I'm going to, and I stay on that route that I want to help more and more and more people. Okay, so don't be for sale. I think also, you have got to give it your all. You've got to give it everything that you've got. I remember back when I was in school, we used to play football for the school, right? And there was a few guys in the team, and they played for Leicester City at the time, like schoolboy stuff. And when we used to train, I remember we'd do like sprints and stuff, and we'd all be flat out, and these guys would both be running kind of 80%, right? They wouldn't be really putting it in. Maybe they thought they'd made it, maybe not. You know these guys, when we used to warm up, maybe they would just rock up and just go straight into playing. Maybe they thought they were better than and you can apply that into your business as well. If you're not giving it your all, you're doing tasks half-assed. The long and short is, I still talk to these two guys, and I remember speaking to them recently, and they both say, and they both never made it to professional level, by the way, and they both say they wished they'd have tried harder at the time. Because a lot of the time, it's not the people that are the most talented that make it in all walks of life. It's the people that work the hardest, the people that want it the most, the people that are committed the most to what they want to achieve. And I don't know if extra effort would have enabled them to make it, but they wouldn't look back with regret, maybe like they do now. All right, so I see this all the time, and it goes back to your identity of, when you get tired, when you get fatigued, when you get down, when you're in a slump. It's them habits, them rituals, them standards that are ultimately going to carry you through. So, if you don't have good habits, you don't have good rituals, you don't have routines throughout your life, I think you're going to fall down or fall off the tracks, and it takes you a lot longer to get back on the tracks. I think that's what differentiates maybe the successful with the less successful, is we all have challenges and come off the tracks, but it's your ability to get back on the tracks quickly and keep going and pushing forwards. And I think some people have things happen to them, and it destroys their day, it destroys their week, it destroys their month in cases, when you've just got to get back on the tracks as fast as you physically can. So you can fall back on your routines and your habits. Just don't look back and regret that you wish you tried harder, you wish you'd done more, you wish you'd done something different, okay? The last habit for me is, I think you've got to have a solid morning routine. I'm big on both morning and evening routines. I'm just briefly going to go through some morning stuff with you now. What I think really helped me, and I think if you implement some of this, it will really help as well if you have some understanding behind it. So it's my belief that the first 20 minutes of your day, if you can control that, the rest of the day kind of falls into place. I think it can set you up massively for success. So without going hugely biological and technical on you, the brain produces electrical patterns, right, called waves, essentially. Now, scientists found there's a correlation between the waves in your brain and your state, what you're like, energetic, maybe sleepy, etc., etc. So when you're waking up, the frequency or electrical frequency in your brain is at a certain level, okay? And it's at a level where they believe it's almost at a subconscious level. So it's almost what they call an alpha state. So you might be able to resonate with, maybe in the day, and you go into almost like a semi-daydreaming state. Maybe you've been on a commute on the train or in the car, right? And you go into this semi-daydreaming state, and a few minutes pass by and you don't remember really what happened, and you almost come around. Okay, that would be like an alpha state. That would be almost a semi-subconscious state. So in that first 20 minutes, when you're in this semi-subconscious state, that is when your mind is the most pliable to the information that enters it. So you've got to be incredibly aware and careful about what you allow to enter your mind at that time, because it's going to have a huge effect on your state. All right. So for example, do you want to wake up, look at your phone and see a shitty email from an investor that's pulled out, a shitty email from a solicitor, etc., etc., right? No, you don't. Because for me, it's going to massively affect my state going into the day. That is the last thing I want to see first thing in the morning. Now, is that event always going to happen? Well, yeah, of course it is. I'm going to have to lean into that challenge and face it head on, but I don't want it in my head first thing in the morning. So what should you do? Okay, well, number one, do not snooze your alarm. Okay, and again, there's scientific evidence behind this. Do not snooze your alarm. Now, the body goes through what you call sleep cycles. 90-minute sleep cycles it goes through, where it goes through deep sleep back into a more kind of superficial level of sleep. Okay, so when you wake up, your body thinks, right, it's awake time. It starts to release hormones, chemicals, enzymes to kickstart the body like you're ready for the day. Okay, now if you then push the snooze button and go back to sleep, the body goes, oh, okay, we're not waking up, we're going back to sleep. Let's release the hormones and chemicals and enzymes that put us back into a sleep state. Now, you're not going to have another 90 minutes nap, right? A snooze, you'll have probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes if people snooze their alarm 5 times or whatever. So when you wake up, you've not finished that 90-minute sleep cycle. You could have been in a deep sleep. So then you've got to reverse that chemical process to come back out of the sleep again. And that's been shown to it can take 3-4 hours for you to come out of that sleepy state. So don't snooze your alarm, okay? If you set an alarm, get up. Do not snooze your alarm because it's making you feel worse than you should, okay? The next thing is, don't be looking at your phone because for obvious reasons, you're not going to see anything good when you look at your phone. It's going to be negative. You're going to see negative news, negative message, negative email, and you don't want that negativity going into your mind when it's so pliable in that first 20 minutes of the morning, okay? What you could do is start filling your mind with more positive stuff. Maybe you wake up and you get a journal out and you start writing down your gratitude. Okay, you can't feel stressed, you can't feel anxious, you can't feel scared and grateful at the same time. So maybe you start thinking about gratitude. You write down, what are you grateful for right now? Are you grateful that you woke up and you put your feet on the ground? Because I am. Are you grateful that you've got a house, a roof over your head, you've got running water? Are you grateful for your family? What are you grateful for? It's literally so powerful. It literally is the antidote for being scared, fearful, stressed, okay? After I wrote my gratitude down, I then write my goals down. Now, it's statistically proven again, people who write their goals down twice a day are 24 times more likely to achieve them. Let me say that again. People who write their goals down twice a day are 24 more times likely to achieve them. Write your goals down, imprint it in your mind. Why are you doing today? Why are you facing them challenges, making them difficult phone calls today? Okay, remember why you're doing this. And the last thing is, I always like to exercise. So I'll get up, I'll do something. Doesn't mean I have to go to the gym, right? But for me, I think my whole psychology is driven by my physical body, by my physiology, okay? If I can get out even on a walk, release them positive endorphins, get the fresh air, the light in my eyes, when I then come back to my desk, I'm in such a powerful state where I can then hit my challenges head on and I'm ready to take on the day, okay? So for me, control your time. Control your morning, control your habits, or time will ultimately control you. You've got to be proactive with these things. Don't be reactive. Now, the majority of people I know do not implement these things. I think they think, well, it's too easy. Maybe it doesn't have that much of a profound effect. Well, for me, if you do it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, it won't. It's the continual implementation of this over 12, 18 months, and you'll see vast differences in not only yourself, but also your business as well. So I could talk for hours about habits and my belief in the importance of them. This was just a snapshot, though, of some of the things that I do to set me up for the day, to set my rituals, my habits up for the day. I hope this was useful, guys. As I said, there's going to be more and more content on this page. If you could like it, share it with someone who you think would benefit. That would be incredible. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you soon.